Pleasure to be here today. Um, Hello, everybody. I'm Scott Anderson. I'm an executive director at Forge Institute. Glad to be here. I think I was invited to kind of just tell my story, how I got into cyber and kind of my career pathway. I spent 24 years in the military. I live in Arkansas now, but I grew up in Washington State. Took a lot of computer classes in high school. After high school, I went to ITT Technical Institute, got my degree in computer aided drafting and design. Enjoyed that, but didn't see a long career in it. And this was back before you could do a lot of drafting with like a mouse. I learned to do it via command line and even write some scripts to automate a lot of what I was doing. And I realized then that I enjoyed working with technology, obviously taking classes in high school. Um, and then when I joined the Air Force, I became a communications navigations apprentice. That wasn't exactly computer job, but I definitely learned how boxes communicate, electronics, foundational type stuff. Did that for 8 years and then cross trained into what was called cyber systems operations. Took care of software supporting a military mission out at Little Rock Air Force Base in a small intelligence squadron where we worked with unmanned aerial vehicles, UAS, aerial systems, and we couldn't have done that without technology, right, and without computers. So enjoyed that very much. Got commissioned supporting full motion video operations, and then that unit was vacating a building, a space that was on Little Rock Air Force Base. Uh, I had the opportunity to have a meeting with the Secretary of the Air Force during the time. This was late 2000s. Uh, Actually, a little bit before that. I guess it was 2015. And her and I had an idea of putting a cyberspace mission in the facility that was out there, and that got a lot of traction. We were standing up as the cyberspace operations squadron, focusing on training. They gave us about 2 years to develop our courseware and to hire staff. 6 months later, we were offering our first class, which doesn't happen in the military. I had some great opportunities. I hired a great team. We came in and we just operated. So the function of cyber operations within that unit was training, but we were taking IT people and turning them into cyber operators, either offensive or defensive cyber operators, um, is using either learned or earned skills they had from previous professions and getting them ready to go support U.S. Cyber Command. When I started doing some outreach, I realized that like Washington, where I grew up, which has some deep roots in technology, Arkansas does as well. And working with academic institutions, private sector organizations, they were realizing that, hey, we need to, from a cybersecurity standpoint, we need more operators. So that unit's about 100 people strong now. They're doing classes for people all over the country. Uh, but back on the operational piece. So in the military, my experience was talking to a lot of pilots, because that's usually who runs the Air Force. So looking at from a cyber standpoint is, how do you create a cyber operator? Taken in the concept of, you're not working on a computer, you're not fixing a computer, you're actually operating a computer to get whatever task you need done. That mindset was a challenge for some individuals, but what resonated a lot with a lot of the pilots is looking at, all right, they have to, every 18 months or so, a pilot has to get what they call a check ride, or an evaluation to see if they're still qualified to fly that airplane. We did something very similar with cyber operators. So we use that same model in regards to going through specific training, development, hands-on, like you would hands-on fly an airplane, to complete certain tasks on computers. And then you would have a a check ride per se to make sure you're ready and qualified to execute that cyber mission. And that's both on the offensive and the defensive side. Seeing how things work, you have to have a lot of foundational IT background, but that's kind of the way we modeled our development out of the airbase. I've then since retired. I now work for Forge Institute, which is a small nonprofit in Little Rock, Arkansas, where we're working with public and private sector entities to kind of do some of similar stuff I did when I built that schoolhouse out of the airbase. Is taking people that have a technology background, information technology background, and turn them into cyber operators supporting business operations. That has had huge success in regards to we built a boot camp that does that. We also realized that we need to develop the people that would go into that boot camp. So we built another boot camp with some foundational technology courses that a lot of Arkansans are taking advantage of. We're reaching out to some neighboring states and building a pipeline or a pathway similar to what my pathway was in the military. I moved into cyber operations after I had some foundational experience under my belt, either earned or learned. And looking at, all right, well, where do we go from here is you got to continually develop, you got to continually evolve the talent and continuously learn new skills. Our adversaries, no matter who that is, whether it's a advanced persistent threat like a nation state, or it's organized crime or hacktivists or just thrill seekers, they all those adversaries are causing problems within the industry, both on the public in organizations, both on the public and private sector side. So building an ecosystem where you can develop people from cradle to grave uh, in regards to people that are just now getting into tech who need to go work for a couple of years and then get further developed into a cyber security role or other workforce roles, because there's so many aspects to cybersecurity. Uh, I learned early on in this, and it's been a long time since I've been like on keyboard. I can recall a few things, maybe on Linux and how to navigate some of the Windows stuff and networking. I'm sure I could figure out how to configure a firewall or even set up a network. But this day and age, everything's interconnected. I think everybody has some responsibilities to learn when it comes to cybersecurity. But in regards to developing that pathway and the talent gaps that I'm seeing in industry and in the government, obviously I'm a little biased, and I'm a very I support veterans very much, not just being one, but I honor that when people serve our country. But looking at what value they bring to organizations and that trusted workforce that needs to be out there. Every organization wants a trusted workforce, especially in cyber, because we're giving them keys to the kingdom when we give administrative rights to individuals. So our efforts at Forge are very much around that, along with kind of bridging that gap between the public and private sector in some operational programs at Forge Institute. You look at innovation around research and development. Those things are very much stovepiped around the country. So we've built an environment where you can bring all those things together. And that's unique, right? As new technologies are evolving, new devices are being developed, at the same time putting them into operations, at the same time developing people on how to secure those new ideas and new items. Bringing that together is just something unique. And we're a small team. We can't do it by ourselves. We partner with so many great organizations, and I love the Futures Foundation, Cyber Futures Foundation, and everything they're doing. It's building relationships and just continuing to move the ball forward. We as a nation need that. We as a society need that because, like I mentioned earlier, cybersecurity is everybody's responsibility. Everybody has a role to play in that. I get on my soapbox sometimes talking about it's not just a matter of what you do at work or your organization that you have to secure. It's now what you do at school or in hobbies or even within your family. I I try to talk to my family as much as possible, but they probably don't understand the implications of some of the choices they make when it comes to cybersecurity and how they have their systems at their house set up. I would say that we'll never have less amount of cybersecurity risks than we have right now. It's only going to go up. So figuring out best practices, figuring out a flexible model that you can tailor development to what's needed in your community, what's needed in your organization. I think all that plays a part. I don't have all the answers, but I'm all about having the conversations, developing the future workforce, and then solving problems and helping organizations be more secure. I have really enjoyed what I've done at Forge. I still feel like I'm serving, like I mentioned earlier, after 24 years in the military. I wouldn't change. I might change a few things because I've made mistakes over the years. But where I am today and the pathway I had is unique, and everybody has that unique experience. I think having an opportunity to figure out how to leverage other people to help, it's having that service mindset that has helped me through my career. And I think that there's opportunities to kind of continue that development, continue the process in regards to getting people that have the aptitude, that have the desire, that will work well with teams, within teams, and then integrating cybersecurity into every aspect of an organization. And that's basically done by building relationships and communicating. I would say that I've had some great mentors in my life, and I tell everybody people that are going through our boot camps. I tell my kids this in regards to you should always have somebody that's helping you along the way. So seek that out. I would say find some peers that you can keep you accountable and kind of help you get to where you want to be and grow together as peers, because that networking, that tight-knit network is something that's going to help out your future. And then obviously pouring into those people that are coming up. And that's not just within cyber, that's with any profession. So I only had a little bit of time today. I'm not sure if questions are able to be brought up in here, but I'm so glad I had the opportunity to speak. I'm happy to answer questions.
Housekeeping.
And I'm sorry if my internet was messed up.
No,
In addition, audience members will be able and encouraged to
thank you so much, Scott.
How was that? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's perfect. That went really well. Yeah. And we'll check into the recording, post it outside. We'll be back for this, and I'm sure we'll have follow-ups too. So,
All right,
thank you.
Reach out. I'm sorry I wasn't planning on being in my truck through this, but
makes for a good story. Yeah.
Yeah, you have a great day. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Scott.
Asia
Cheers. Goodbye.